Hi there, it's Friday and I have a couple of things to talk to you about today. So here we are. First thing is locks. I have 2 combination locks in the classroom that we're going to start working with next week because I always like to make sure that all of my kids can open a combination lock before they leave for middle school, because one of the biggest things that kids worry about in that transition to middle school is, am I going to be able to get my locker open? Well, if you can open a combination lock, you can open any combination lock because it's always the same, like the pattern or whatever. And so I always teach my kids to open a combination lock. If that's something you want to work on at home, pick up a combination lock somewhere. These were a couple bucks, I think, at Target. And I've had them for years, so they last really good. And just let your kid play with them. Play with them in the car, play with them while they're watching TV or whatever. It's a good thing, very good thing to do. Speaking of middle school, we need to have just the tiniest little baby talk about fairness. Became apparent this week, and it's something that's kind of been rumbling for a while. Like, I will have something that only a couple of kids can do, like for whatever reason. Like, for instance, we had pennies for patience this week, and so it is not practical for all 30 children to count the money. And so we had to come up with ways to count the money, and honestly, there wasn't enough money for even every kid to get to count. Like, we just sort of we dealt with it the best that we could because there's 30 kids in the classroom, and honestly, I'm not here to count pennies for patience money. I'm really here to teach them. So I just sort of do the best that I can with things like that. And I had some kids who were like, this isn't fair, that's not fair, this isn't fair. And it's not really one kid in particular, but they all sort of get into that, or it feels like a lot of them are getting into that. And it's really just a maturity thing, and it's definitely something that we need to be aware of, because you can't go into middle school kind of pouting because something's not fair. That's not going to work. So maybe something to work on at home, maybe have a little conversation about with your kids. I'm not going to put this in the email. I'm only going to say it in this video, because I really want you to understand that this is coming from a place of love and concern, not from a place of like there's something wrong with your kids, or like, you know, they're being really immature. It's not that. It's that I'm just concerned that we have more than a couple of kids who are get a little pouty when they don't think that things are fair, and it's not always that things are going to be fair. And when they're saying fair, what they're meaning is equal. And I've told them from the first day of school, fairness doesn't mean that everyone gets the same thing. Fairness means that everyone gets what everyone needs. And we're going to do the best that we can, but there are 30 of you. And it's never my intention to, deliberately leave a kid out or something like that. But like, we just can't have 30 kids counting pennies for patience money every day. That's wildly impractical. So maybe just something to kind of keep your eyes and ears out for with your 5th graders. If you're seeing some of that with older brothers and sisters or younger brothers and sisters, maybe just be like, hey, you're going to middle school. Knock it off. That would be awesome. Okay, so that is my little fairness talk. Science fair projects are due on the 31st. So planning sheet number 2 was due this week. I think I just have a handful, maybe not even that many, of kiddos that are still working to get those done. Shout outs. We have Andrew and Abba passed subtraction, Andrew and Abba passed multiplication, Ryder passed division, so he's done, and that's awesome. As far as awesome effort this week, I'm giving it to everybody because they all took COGAT, and that's a whole big thing, so that's really awesome. And then for kindness this week, I'm going to give that to Miss Gabby. Gabby worked really, really hard this week. She actually, you see all this writing? She filled in all of this week. She did birthday cards this week. She just made sure that people felt included and special, and that's awesome. So thanks, Gabby. All right. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.